Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How's everybody doing right now? I apologize for not being with you on Monday for our breakfast show, as I was doing a live trading session also with all the students who came to our masterclass. But today we are back. That's right. Today is the Wednesday, and our breakfast show, Trading with Ideas with SmartRobie, we will bring you with what the idea that we have last week and how well they fare, but as well as looking at some of the news that really matters. That's right. Now, thank you for sharing this video in your timeline. We really appreciate for all the effort you have done in here, and hopefully your time will be well spent today as we cover the important headline that we have for this morning. Now, that's right. Now, in this morning in here in our breakfast show, definitely one of the things that we really want to talk about on Wednesday is the intermediate level. That's right. So which means we will be taking trades that usually is trending up, which means in the middle of a stage 2, and there's a lot of them also on the SmartRobie. Just check it out in there, but if not, I'll just pick a couple of trades for you in here and also look at the chart setup. Then not forgetting also the new sentiment in here continue to be better. That's right. Now, as such, the market seems to be very uninterested to many people, which is usually normal. That's how we were able to get in on those trades earlier and able to make the kind of return that we do. And many of you would have seen the earlier display that we have in our breakfast show in here. But definitely, let's move on to what we have for you this morning. And of course, not to forget, submit your best stock trade idea. And we are getting a couple of trades coming in very nicely in here. As you can see, just on top here are some of the great ideas. And you might just stand a chance to win an iPad for our May-July giveaway. That's right. And that is really thank you for your support in here and so forth. Now, let's move on. To our news headline this morning is definitely our Malaysian banking sector. Now, banking sector, as I said before, does represent a big part, about 32% of our KLCI constitution of the component. So if our so-called banking sector continue to hold on, then that tells you that our market has likely to be stable like this and likely to go higher than now. Of course, we still need to take a look at the foreign funds flows and check it out from our Trade VSA dashboard in here. But this chart basically tells you the continued core net profit continuing up. Of course, last year, the quarter 2019, we dip up, and that really tells you where and how strong this market in here. We do know also on our next is the continuing of technology comeback, as well as not to forget the automotive industry is coming back as there are more sales coming in here, and that will put the banking stock in a better position that we saw earlier. And remember why? Because a lot of people take loans. Loans usually translate to better banking turnover and banking net profit in here. On our next news here is regard to VS Industry, another plastic maker in here. They were in the black, and now really they are black. They were in the red. Now finally they're in the black. If you notice, the third quarter, this is where they actually had a negative loss. Third quarter last year 2020, but since then first quarter, second quarter and third quarter are showing very good result for the 2021 in here. Let's take a look at the chart right now and see where is VS. Maybe this will be a chance for you to get in before many people know of such result in here. Usually people only buy when the market is higher, but in here, as you can see right now, the market hits the low on the 23rd of May, and since then has a green pentagon and is looking at $1.40. All high was around 1, which is 4th of April there. That was somewhere back in, that's right, in early April. That was around 150. So you can see here, this is definitely giving you an opportunity if VS is something that you're looking at. But let's look at the fundamentals here and seeing whether this is a good dividend payment, because usually I do get a lot of people asking for dividend stocks. And let's take a look at this one in here. Just pay short of a 0.9. But having said that, rating is NA not available because why? This stock seems to be a bit pricey considering the return on equity. No doubt about it, this is one of those stocks. If you were good to get it now, you're probably getting at the low base, because looking from the top side here, you can see the quarterly returns are coming back. And take note, usually quarterly returns, depending how the market is bullish or not. Right now, our market is not bullish. As such, you will see the takeoff from the price is slow. Of course, if the market is bullish, then usually the price will take forward. But earnings is back, so take note of this one in here. Now, our next news is about digital plays, and two stock in mind is GHL and Revenue. This is all about the payment gateway, and little exposure that you can have on payment gateway will definitely be the Revenue Group. Now, Revenue Group, like it or not, has done pretty well for the third quarter ending 2021, came in with all-time high, the revenue 29.1 million, translating to a net profit of 4.1, a rise of 400% year on year. Let's take a look at revenue here. Having said that, which always been the core holdings, especially those of you who are our masterclass student, I've talked about revenue being the core holding. Switching to a wider chart here, okay, and let's take a look at revenue in here. If not mistaken, it just turned green pentagon. That's right, and this is a very nice chart, as you can see in here. Base building just on the early 6th of June, green pentagon in here. And let's see whether this is responding well on the chart, but will we get some sort of profit taking or not to this morning. Let's take a look at the stock price. And you can see it's down 1% perhaps on this news taking. But overall, this does give you the right condition with the right spacing going forward. Of course, going forward, as I said before early on when we talk about the US market, the interest rate seems to be coming down below the 10-year yield of 1.5%. And a lot of technology stocks, again, very similar to revenue, and like Apple and Tesla, they are turning green. So is this the recovery that we've seen so far? If you notice from the right-hand side, since back in early May, the market dipped back down in here, and right now it's ripe for going higher in here. All right, so do take note, this is the first time you're watching it, and this is where we will bring to you time and time again news that correlated back to the green pentagon, where you are able to enter at a better price and a better position in here. So something that's good to know of, and if you're looking to it, this is the time to buy when no one right now is interested in buying. All right, the next news is the UMW, which I talk about, which is related to the banking stock. Now, UMW being an automotive as well as having Perodua are doing very well. Again, this is a recovery on the COVID-19. More and more people are getting cars. So the news talk about the sales jump 120% last month. Compared to a year ago, and Toyota, Vios, Yaris, and Hilux are the best-selling model, contributing 78% of the total sales for the month 2021. Of course, Corolla, Cross, and Harrier, they improved, all done pretty well. But the story is that Perodua sales, which is usually the mass production, more popular among the Malaysians, are doing well, and that will contribute to the news or to the earnings of UMW. Let's take a look at UMW right now. And okay, UMW. Let's look at the chart. So again, if you look at the chart in here, very nice base building around this point here. The 3 ringgit 15 cent turned green pentagon in here, and again the same story like we talk about revenue. It came from the old high somewhere in April, so this is a play. There is a little bit of upside from in here, so take note, it's already green pentagon. Use the trading plan if you are interested to go in. All right, next story is the higher profit for UWC. Again, another technology stocks in here. This story talks about the corresponding third quarter for ending April 30th has rose to 23 million in here. Of course, UWC now become, we went from UMW to UWC. Looking at the charts in here, and let's see where it is. I always like and it gets what? It just turned green pentagon. And again, take note of the chart formation. We have a double bottom, which is a very, very nice base inside here. So good results coming from a low base represent a very low risk. And you got a little bit upside going up to $6.30 in here. And I do take note, a lot of good news will be coming up from this. Will we see this coincide with the running of the tech stocks? As we all know, UWC is one of the so-called tester for the 5G technology in here. Of course, you can really check it out on the news. But having said that, UWC does look to be very, very positive. All the tech stocks, again, going back to the hot sectors, which we will look at it shortly, whether this is one of the favorable factor in here. All right, let's move on to our next news. Now, next news is for the dividend player right now. Definitely B80 form into that category. B80, as you can see on the chart, and this is one of the news that were picked up by Edge, being a dividend player, because we do get many of you who do ask me any good dividend to stocks. Of course, we will look at B80. It's smoking cigarette kind of category in here. Some people might like it, some people may not. But in the past, this has been a high flyer around the 46, 60 ringgit. But ever since with the e-cigarette, this was really a challenge. Now it dipped back to below 10 ringgit in the early June, but right now it's about 15. Let's take a look at B80. Of course, we want to look at the fundamentals and the kind of dividend, how much of the dividend is paying. Looking at stock fundamental in here, right? And you can see this is a FA rating of 5, definitely a good value stock playing in here. PE of 16, but I have a ROE of 17 times and does pay a 5.7% dividend. So take note of it. This is definitely some of those of you who are looking for yield dividend, which is better than the banks. Definitely this one is good. You got a little bit of upside here. And let's take a look at the chart for B80. And you can see B80 here. It has come down to orange pentagon. Okay, so wait for the green pentagon before you go in. We don't want you to fall into something similar to Server Dynamic. Remember, Server Dynamic started to move way back in January until March. Then the red pentagon comes out, break below the ATR, sort of very similar to what you see on top in here. But we want to have the green pentagon to go in. So you want to make sure that the trend is in your favor and don't want to catch a falling knife. All right, those are the important lessons we want to talk about this morning in here. And definitely put you in a better mood. All right, let's move on to our US. That's right. Now, the last night Dow Jones continued to trend up, but having said that, it has tapered off from the old high as a market. Both the S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq hit all-time high resistance. Of course, Dow Jones has already hit earlier, is backing in down, but a lot of talks is on the US FOMC meetings, which will be released 14 to 16 in here, and people are looking for the Feds for signal whether they're going to be tightening or loosening the bond buying. Of course, everyone is looking into more bond buying. If they buy bond prices goes up, interest rate will come down, and that's good for the tech stocks. It may seems to be the signal right now is going to be on whether they will continue to maintain the same amount of buying, which is about 120 billion a month in here, or loosen. If it's going to be loosened to 120 to 110, I think somewhere along, I do believe they will loosen it to maybe about 80 to 100. They will not increase it because as you've seen, the market is really recovering in here. We do see inflation pressure in here. They need to maintain the interest rate and not lower the interest rate. Of course, tonight, if the Feds are signaling that they will continue to buy at 120 billion per month, then you'll see a lot of the tech stocks will factor in, and you'll see a lot of rallying in here. But last night, we do see the Nasdaq fall off after hitting a nice one. And also, stocks like Tesla had a green pentagon. That's right, they just turned the green pentagon in here, but last night we did see a sell-off, and many people the analysts are writing, look, Tesla does look ripe for trade. Now do take note, if you switch over to the US market right now, S&P 500, go over to Robie here, and of course you can do the usual stock, but I wanted to show you on Tesla here, and you can see it just turned green pentagon. Okay, after coming down, let me just switch to a wider chart here, and you can see from the period stage that we have around the 700 and close to about just short of 800, coming down to 630, and right now you could see right here, that's right, very similar to what we just saw for UWC, all right, Tesla and Apple previously. So why I want to show you this? Because a lot of our Malaysian share really tied to the US. Now by having SmartRobie right in front of you, all the timing is already been taken care of. All you need to understand is the economics and see some sort of correlation that we present you in our breakfast show, that you're able to see this relationship and get ahead of the market. This is something I felt very few people are able to talk about it, because they're not able to tie to market in the kind of relationship that we see right now. And that's why we make it very easy, especially in our masterclass. Also tonight, we'll be doing our live trading. So take note, those of you who are our public, there won't be any live FP tonight at 9:30, because tonight I'll be spending my a couple hours with my masterclass member here. And those of you who are considering to join us in our masterclass, come back again in August. That's right, we're just finishing off to the last part of it. And tonight we're looking at a couple of stocks, and also on our master the Pentagon Guider trading portfolio, which is also focusing on the US part. Right now, we do see two things, all right? The US market, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ hitting all-time high, which is normal. But a lot of the other stocks, like we saw just Tesla, are just base building in here, having a green pentagon. And eventually, when the US Fed signal is signaling that either they're going to be a bit more bullish or a bit more bearish on the bond buying, then you'll see it take off. So all this is pending on the Fed signal that we're looking at. Of course, I will also give this update to you on Friday as the kind of news that we receive in here. And really thank you a lot for your support, and we really enjoy this session with you in here. All right, let's move on to our leaderboard for immediate trade idea that we had, focusing on the trending stocks in here. Let's switch back to our Robie stock, and you can see the trending stocks are definitely in the couple of them, and definitely JFTech, which is one of our Mr. Young here, and did inquire about in here. But overall, we did pick a few good winners, 38, 26%, and Hector. And last trade idea on the 9th of June, AirAsia, Lexus did started to move up. FPI also started to move up. Now remember, these shares are usually trending, right? They're not going to go straight up like what we see in data price. And that's one of the things we wanted to go. We don't want it to shoot up so fast on climatic volume, on climatic bar. That usually denotes profit taking. We want them to move slowly, which usually undetected. By the time it goes to climatic, what do? You take profit, right? That's how we do it. So let's take a look at the AirAsia stocks that we have here. Let me just switch this to AirAsia. Okay, AirAsia group. You can see AirAsia, when we first talked about it, was 9th of June. All right, somewhere around here. That's right, continue to move up. And this morning we have a pullback, a slight pullback in here. You can definitely see this is really a recovery theme. Now, despite what you hear from the yesterday 5:30 from our Prime Minister in here talking about the COVID condition that we escape out, then definitely those are bad news, isn't it? But why is AirAsia moving up? That is always what we call a disparity between bad news and the stock market. If on bad news, market goes up, this is the time to buy. And that's why many people, especially beginner, if you are listening as a beginner, you find that this is very difficult to understand. And the sooner you understand there's a correlation between bad news, market going up, that is strength in the market. And that's how we want to prove to you too. So looking at AirAsia right now, that's pretty good. We have an up percent. And Lexus, let's take a look at Lexus. That was also our pick last week. You can see 9th of June, the market pullback, 2-bar pullback. Again, this is one of those beautiful trades that Coach Fu always talk about in here, but you do have a bit of resistance at 118. So take note, we will see a lot of price interaction at the old resistance in here. Then previously, we have another one, FPI. ProSonic, and you can see ProSonic again on the 2nd of June, 4-bar pullback and take off from there. So a lot of the time, take note, market, especially in a trending stock, what we call trending stock, they don't go up in a straight line, they go pull back. And this is some of those very suitable if you are intermediate, a trend following type. So learn to read the bar, learn about pullback. Definitely learn to look at the charts, and at no time at all there were any exit at all for this chart, because trend zone is still blue and it's continue to go up. How high is going to go up? Well, we will see. Maybe go up by 30%, 40%. And that's what we call the gold ball. Remember, guys, right? Over the weekend, we'll be playing the gold ball, white ball, and orange ball. So those kind of concept, it's important and part and parcel of what we call the agenda for 2021, being a train trader and a train investor, if that's something that you want to pursue and invest your time and money. And that's why we are here, to ensure you continue to move in that direction, like many of our masterclass is improved a lot. All right, let's take a look at some of the other our trade idea this week, right? And it's no other than KGB and JFTech. Of course, Mr. Young there will be very happy because he asked about JFTech. And these are the two. One is actually a tech stocks. Another one is more like an industrial product. Let's take a look at KGB. All right, KGB, Kellington. Again, Kellington is Kellington and revenue has been two of my core holding in here. Very nicely done. You have a nice base inside here. Pick it up and look back to retest back at 240. So this is again, next week we'll come back and look at this stock, whether you have another 4-bar movement or not. Usually the case allow some sort of a pullback and before it goes higher. Learn to run your profit, ladies and gentlemen. Learn about the fixed rule that we always share in our portfolio trading strategy. And if you have not, do come and attend our SmartRobie workshop that we do on weekend on the Zoom one. And again, more and more very important is to continue to back test. Right? I cannot stress it more. It's part and parcel of your train agenda for being a train trader and train investor. Knowing that is going to get you in the right mood and continue to achieve better than average return. Remember, we talk about better than average return, and some of you did come to our workshop. For those, you will know some of the concept that we talk about. All right, Kellington looks to be good. Next we have is JFTech. All right, JFTech here. Again, JFTech hit all high, continue to move up. So that looks pretty good inside here. Now, some people say this does look like a LKL chart. Okay, LKL, which is a healthcare stock. You can see started to go down in here, turn red pentagon, and take note, the rubber sectors seems to be taking a really bad repo in here from also the top glove not being able to get out from the US custom and border. But tech stocks, JFTech seems to be showing a bit promising here. It will take a bit while for accumulation before it go a bit higher in here. You can see AirAsia, Pro, Lexus. It's something that we picked last week and it continued to be in here. There's also QES, FP Group, a lot more. Do take a look at them. I do think the Echo World International has done reasonably well too. Those are the trending stocks, and especially if you are a trend rider, right, or an intermediate investor and trader, these are the stocks that you can look at. Definitely in here. Okay, so JFTech and Kellington are our two trade ideas that we have so far for you. Of course, let's move on to our news this morning in here. Let's take a look at our KL sentimental news. And the news right now for KLCI is definitely very bullish in here. You can see number 2 there, item number Bursa Malaysia extend gain open higher. Okay, that was June 15 in here. And M Steel, we got some M Steel there, and also revenue in here. You can MRCB, right, and you got MBSB. Those are doing pretty decent and well and so forth. All right, so that's something good to look at in here. And those are news discovery right now that's showing turning very positive in here. If you have no stocks to look at, you might want to discover those news and see whether that is stocks that you want to buy based on those news that we have in here. All right, and let's go on review our something that we are very proud of is our portfolio strategy over the weekend. If you again, right, the question is, how is your portfolio doing? All right, type it in there. Those of you who want to respond is, give me, how's your portfolio been doing for the last 6 months? I challenge you there. And our portfolio continue to do so well. It's up 17%. With a win rate of 67.7, and those of you who've been following for many months, you have seen that our portfolio do go up and down, just like pretty much what we talk about over the weekend on the equity curve that we have. Win rate 67, and we know the expectation value for this one compared to KLCI, which is minus 3% in here. And the stocks that we are currently having on is DNEX, Samcam, and Maybao. All right, so hopefully, by month of June we hit 20%. That would be great, but on average we are averaging about 3%, which is so much better in here. Now the question is, if you can't do as well as what we have here on 17%, the question I'm going to get back to you, what's your agenda being a train trader and train investor? What can you do to make it better. All right, I think that's one of the challenge I always have being in here, is to continue to improve your skill and your strength set. All right, so let's take a look at the DNEX, okay, which we continue to run our profit here. Very nicely done, straight up. You know all the good news about DNEX and so forth. Right. Again, I do know some of you who are not properly trained. Having said that, you've taken profit too early, and that's one of the key thing is, you need to follow a set of rules. And I said before, time and time again, there's a way to make money, and the whole point is to optimize this way of making without jeopardizing so much on your emotion. And many times people tend to be very emotional as such, and over years they've never achieved the financial goals that we did in here. So follow what we call the fixed rules in here, no emotion needed, and DNEX continue to do well. Let's take a look at the next one, SamCam. SamCam has red pentagon, but I don't think the ATR stop loss is out yet. So make sure you switch on your ATR stop loss, okay? Right, and if not, okay. This one here doesn't have the ATR, I'll need to add it in. But what we can do, we will switch it on to our SamCam here. All right. And look at the ATR stop loss from here. Either way, you can see just that the charts, it's real time, and hit it this one here. So you can see there, the ATR stop loss is still further down there. That is somewhere around 160. So we are still okay. Next one is Maybach. Okay, Maybach yesterday did pretty well, hit a 5%, right? You can see yesterday was a 5.2% in here. Immediately after the ATR, immediately after the Pentagon guided, you can see this market picks up and started to go up. Who knows, it might just hit $1. Our profit target is about $1 in here. Of course, the question you're going to be asking is, can buy now or Maybach? All right, as I said before, over and over again, always have a trading plan. If you follow what we do in our fixed portfolio charts inside here, right, this market will go in much sooner. Again, always look at your plan. All right, and that's really part we want to share with you, being part of the agenda of being a trained trader and trained investor in here. So let's see how the SamCam, Maybach, DNEX will also do, as I continue to update you on every session that we have on our breakfast show, so you're able to follow this. And those of you who finally realize that this is important, right, maybe you want to join some of our courses that we do on the weekend, that definitely will benefit you and take you to the next level in here. Okay, so this is the three stocks that we have, continue to do well with the 70. Now let's look at the hot sector on the charts that we have on SmartRobie. Okay, let's get back in here again. And let's see where we are. So transportation, well, Maybach is in transportation, right? So that's why we pick it. And again, falling back on the Pentagon guided trading strategy, we tend to follow those rules, will align with the hot sector that you see. We have finance, we have REITs, and also property right in here. It's just that one of the stocks that we pick happen to be logistic. Of course, next week we will pick another stocks again. All right, we just picked Maybach, we'll do another one too. Okay, on the what we call the conceptual map, and this is something that I've shared with you earlier, like the takeoff of the Maybach, where we see subsequently after the line change, just to show you back here, the line change, you can see the market takeoff, and this is ideally what we like to do above. Of course, understanding on the left hand side, we want to make sure it reads a lot of low volume support and low volume accumulation. Again, part and parcel of the Wyckoff. All right, now part and parcel of the Wyckoff, which is a traditional what we used to have from VSA. Pay notice to no supply bar. All right, now this is the QR code for our Trade VSA tutorial. We have the confirm no supply, line change, spring and test. So do watch it to get into a tune how you're able to get into the what we call the right side of volume spread analysis in here. Of course, tonight there won't be any live trading for the public, but for our masterclass member tonight, we'll start at 8:30 for our live US trading. As I said before, masterclass member does have these privileges in there. So for those of you who have joined me this morning here, I see some of you tonight, all right, at 8:30. So rest well in it. And also not forget, for our public treat, we have another special Wyckoff expert, and this is a free workshop. Of course, go over to SmartRobie here. I'm going to show you how you can register over here. Just You can see how I'm flipping it here, and hit this picture of Dr. Gary. Now, Dr. Gary is a very well-versed, the 30-year-old veteran on Wyckoff, which actually his Sifu, if I'm not mistaken, is David Weiss. I think some of you may have heard of him here. It is a proponent, a classical chart reading in here. So he'll be with us on the 26th of June at 9 p.m. So make sure you join us and register for our workshop in here, and we will be launching also officially our US S&P 500 on SmartRobie, which some of you may have already seen. So do join us in here for his talk, assessing market from a Wyckoff perspective. All right, Dr. Gary, a very veteran in the VSA world. All right. Of course, now we're going to go on to some stock chart. That's right. And if you have any stocks that you want me to look at, special thanks to all our top fans and our contributor to our Google Play Store and Apple Play Store. You know who you are. We really thank you for your support over the time that we given. And this is something that we will definitely. Oh, thanks, Mr. Young. Sam can give a 1-to-1 bonus. That's right. I think so. There was some bonus issue and so forth, but we will continue to see how it goes. Okay, let's go forward. Any stocks that you guys want me to look at, definitely we'll be doing it right now in here on our SmartRobie. Okay, if you have any stocks, definitely earlier on, Mr. Young here, JFTech, we are looking into it. So let me just bring this up again. But I have showed you also the 3 portfolio that we have, Maybach, DNEX, and Samcam that we have. And let's say, okay, we have here a Lai here, Huatai Industry. Oh, this one is nice, huh? Green Pentagon, morning have to go in. As I said before, always morning go in. Right now, it's already shoot up already. Huatai, I think they make biscuit, right? But take note, this one usually you can see a 1 bar go up distribution. So just be careful. We see 1 bar go down distribution. So I wouldn't be surprised going the next 2 or 3 days. If you buy now, very likely come Thursday and Friday will be distribution in here. So these are the things that I usually don't like. But if you're able to get in early in the morning on the opening around 50 cents, then congratulations. I can only clap hand only. Okay, we have Mistron. Okay, let's look at Mistron for Amil. Mistron looks pretty okay, still decent. Again, a pullback. Again, I do think this is one of those technology stocks. If I'm not mistaken, I have to check the fundamental in here. But looks pretty okay. You got the old resistance in here. A nice pullback, low volume. Still okay. No. Okay, we have Jessica with Astino. Astino, very nice. Green Pentagon in here. Continue to move up. At the end of the day, hold your stock when it's still in the blue trend zone. Even if you pull back, I know the nervousness are there because you are not well trained yet as a trained investor, because you have not maybe attended any of our full length course for that. But it's great. Just follow the rules that we have inside here. And the ATR stop loss, you'll be fine. Okay. We have the MYEG. Okay, let's look MYEG. Now, MYEG has been a real disappointment. We actually bought this as part of our trading view, part of our Pentagon Guider portfolio strategy. But when the market broke through here, we actually cut. So this is something, again, we want to share with you why it's important. If a certain stock doesn't move, why you need to exit. Definitely in our 2 weeks from now, for our masterclass member, please come back for our Pentagon Guider trading portfolio workshop that we'll do, and we're going to be updating you on some of the fixed rules inside there. So definitely, MYEG is going nowhere. Mr. DIY. Okay, Mr. DIY looks like it's going nowhere too. With the red Pentagon that you see, it's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, you have to be very careful. You got a bit of resistance inside here. Now, those of you who, that's right, Kenny Bear. So just take note of not listening to the news, but looking at the charts itself. For example, today, revenue, good news, coming from a low base, okay to buy. Right, this one, good news, but from a very high base. So there is usually a lot of resistance for it to break out, or it may actually distribute, fall a bit more, scare the hell out of you. You say, hey, buy on good news. Everybody talk about it. Why is it falling? You see my point? And then it started to move up. All right. So a lot of time, again, going back to the methodology that you're using. Again, that's why we follow the smart money. That's why we have, special expert like Dr. Gary Baton, which is you see on top here, to explain how the market works, whether it's Malaysia and also US too. Okay, let's look at another one from UI is Ta'an. Okay, Taan break through the ATR stop loss. I think it broke through the ATR stop loss. Let's take a look at Taan right now. I think this is in response to the CPO prices, breaking down the CPO prices. Okay, if you look here, all right, you can see it broke through the ATR stop loss, all right, on top here, which is the ATR stop loss, the one even at the below and up, so you should exit on this stocks inside here. Again, you're going to be saying, no, I'm buying this for long term. Again, if you're long term, where is your stop loss? Okay, if you are looking at the way we buy our trading, you break the ATR stop, you chop it. All right, and again, going back to what methodology are you using inside here. Now, if you're going to follow our method, cut. All right, cut loss. That's how I'm going to say. All right, I hope okay, we have here Abu looking at FP group here. Found peg. Yeah, found peg looks beautiful in here, nicely done. Line change, take off. Who knows? It might look like another Maybach. But take note, 85 and 5 cents, you have a resistance here. Elsoft, another technology stocks. I think the technology are coming back. You can see green pentagon in here. Always, you can see this, right? And what you do is just shift to Apple, or you can switch over to the SmartRobie Apple. You can see they're all more or less the same. They all follow the big brother here, Apple. So in Apple jalan, this guy's all will jalan one, right? So take note of it. You know, that's no what we call innovation from our local technology player. They tend to follow this big brother in here. Again, just like what I said before, it will fall back to the Fed signal, what they intend to do, either with the bond buying and not. So when you try to understand it, and really it's part of my job in this breakfast show to try to explain the macroeconomics, which many people don't. So what I try to do is take macroeconomics that usually you hear, put it into the chart, and put it into the market sentimental that you are able to understand this point in here. Okay, any more stocks? Okay, if you do have, just put it pencil in there. I'll be glad to help you out. Let's move on to our next point here. Okay. Now, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube if you have not, and you're a first timer, then you're able to enjoy many of our archive for your learning too. Subscribe, and of course, don't forget to submit the best stock trade idea in SmartRobie, so you are consistent, right, and able to have a chance to win our May to July campaign in here. And check your email, and of course, do join our Telegram channel and share it with your friends that they're able to get great educational tips, so it will help them to improve if your journey is to become a trader and train well, which we aspire you or motivate you to be one. All right, so if you don't have let's take a look any more stocks on hand. UWC is fine because it just turned red pentagon. For TED there, I think I've just explained that one in here, should be fine going forward in here. All right, with that, we thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate. Thank you for your time, for coming today to our breakfast show in here. And don't forget to review us on our Google Play Store. On the right hand side, you see that QR code in here. And tonight, we'll start at 8:30. Definitely for our masterclass member, live trading in here. I'll see you tonight. We'll talk more on many things regarding the US market. And also, don't forget, one of the syllabus we'll talk about is the Bitcoin, a little bit of update tonight. So I'll see you tonight. Thank you for coming. Bye bye.